Well, welcome to CorelDraw's application. And what I'm going to do here is just briefly talk about its basic layout and navigate through that. And then later on we will focus more on each tools and its functions and properties. So right now with CorelDraw, let's just open up the file. So let's go File, New. So here is CorelDraw. And as you can see, it is a drawing program. This drawing program for CorelDraw is referred to as a vector-based program. And what vector-based means is it's mathematically calculated. Each line that we draw or create will be mathematically changed over and reassigned. So right now, as you can see, I'm just moving these lines, and from this node to that node, it knows the distance. And what that does is it creates a smaller file size. So let's start from the top and then work our way down. This is known as our title bar, and we're working with CorelDraw 12, and the file name that CorelDraw wants to give it is called Graphic1. I should note that the format for CorelDraw is CDR, so this would be called graphic1.cdr. Anytime you see a CDR format, you should know that that is a CorelDraw application. If I would go to File, New again, you can see it says Graphic2. So with that said, always rename your file to best describe what you're working on. You'll discover that we are going to, all the assignments that I give to you will have a certain file name or an assignment, and you actually would want to name it that. If it's a silhouette design, you'd want to name it silhouette design. It's always in your best interest and easy to locate files. Always describe what you're working on or what's in that file as a file name. Okay, so there's your title bar. Main menu. The main menu consists of all these options. We have our file, edit, view, layout, arrange, effects, bitmaps, and so on. I tend to tell my students, a lot of people, that if you're familiar with certain applications, you probably know 20% of any other program that you go into. And the reason being is that if you go to the file menu right now, if you ask yourself how many functions are within the file menu, you're probably going to do and say is yes, there's open, close, save, print, import, export, and that's what you'll really find inside here. We do have what's called acquire, and that's for your scanner, but all these are fairly similar. And within the edit, a lot of times we have properties, how we can change our page setup or whatever we want to do. So this is our main menu. We tend to really work a lot in the arrange menu, a little bit in the effects, but arrange, and we wind up going to the view quite a few times. So I should note that with every command inside here, there is a hotkey, so you necessarily do not have to go to the menu bar. So there's our title bar, our menu bar. Now let's go look at our property box. And right now, CorelDraw is saying that we are working in a document that's 8.5 by 11. It is letter. It is now set to landscape, or it can be portrait. We can change our size, and a lot of times I'll say change your page layout to 6 inches by 6 inches, and now we have it at 6 by 6. This is our units, so we have set right now to inches, and if we click and open it up, we can change that over to whatever units we like to work. If we're working with web development, we may go to pixels. We may want this to be 800 by 600, whatever the case may be. And now we have our units over in pixels. Let's go back 2 inches over here, and I'll just go 6 by 6. This over here is referred to as our nudge or offset. That's a useful little tool. If I have my object selected here and I want to just move it using my arrow keys on my keypad, you can see it nudging. It's moving along. Now if I want to set my nudge, if you notice how far it's moving, a little more finite, I would just insert a 0, so I'd set it to 0.01. Now when I nudge, it's very small. Also, if I went to pixels and I said, oh, we're going to nudge every 3 pixels, or do I want to nudge every 1 pixel? So we have control on how far we can nudge along here. So that is our property bar. You do want to make sure that when you are working in Corel that you do have your unit set up to what you're designing. If you want to stay in inches, you can come in inches. Okay, the next thing is the toolbar, and these are where all the tools are located. If you ever look in the toolbar, any an application here, you have a little triangle. This is referred to as flyouts. So within the one tool, we have multiple tool selections. If you keep your cursor long enough over the toolbar, you'll actually read what that tool function is. In this case, this is the freehand tool, and if we use the F5 key, we would activate that tool. And each tool again has a specific name, so we can actually navigate through. We'll get into more detail of each of these tools. The whoops, kind of ran away on me. It's kind of stuck there, right? Let's see. Delete. Didn't like that. The down here is our ruler, and if you look at CorelDraw with our ruler, we have our horizontal and vertical, and right now if you look at 0, it's down here, and then 0 over here, so that's our 0, 0 coordinates. So we can navigate through and type in where we want to place an object at time. So if I literally type in 0, 0, you can see this box going right to this corner, and it's the center axis that it actually navigates to. With the ruler also, if we click and drag on the ruler, we can bring up guidelines. Over onto the extreme right is our color palette, and here you can select, open up and select your different palettes. We have different options of if we want web safe, RGB color palettes, or CMYK color palette. The square area that we define as 6 by 6, that's referred to as our printable area. I'm going to hit F9 on a keyboard, and it's not working, so I'm going to have to go to View and go this way. You can see our printable area. So the printable area is defined by the page setup. The outside of the printable area is, we would call our paste up board or our desktop. So you can actually move objects outside this area, and then obviously anything in here would print, anything outside that would not print. On the very bottom here you have page 1. We can actually have multiple pages within this document, and if you notice I went to page 3 and this object on my paste up is still showing. So you could literally take it and drag it into page 2, and now we can move and do whatever we want, and have these shapes going into our different pages through our paste up. And if I needed that in page 2, instead of doing copy and paste. So this is a kind of useful thing for your multiple page setup. On the bottom here is our status bar. The status bar is pretty important because it's given us all the information that we need to know about a particular object. And basically we're given our height and width of this object, and it's on layer 1, and here is information that what we can do with this object with this tool selected. So if you are working in Corel and you discover that you want to do something, always have a little peek at the bottom of the status bar. Right here, this is our color fill, so it's red with a hairline, black hairline, and we can change that, so we're going to be looking at that. I'll just remove this. All these tools will have what's called tearaway. I can literally click and drag and now have my color palette sitting over here. I can move my color palette to the bottom if I wish. So you can modify and change your application to best suit your needs. So if you would like to have your toolbar in a different spot, then you can move it to a different spot. It's totally up to you how you want to move your information around. At times, if you lose any of your information, what we want to do is go to our windows, and if we go to toolbars, you can see what's been activated and what has not been activated. So if you notice that your toolbox is gone, just go to Window, Toolbars, and open that up. If Dockers, what refers to as Dockers is this little object over here. So this right here is sort of like your status bar. It's giving us information, and we can control through our Dockers. This box right here, instead of navigating all the way through the top. I find it's if you're working with one monitor, it's just taking up a little bit more room, but that's referred to as a docker. So arrange, shaping, and up comes my shaping docker. Okay, I think I've gone through all this. Let me think. Inches, got a little bit of a nudge happening. Our size, toolbox, our docker. I'll get rid of my docker. The color palette. Quick note about colors too. If you hold your finger down on a color palette, you can actually change your colors that best suits that for that green. So that works out really well. So if you want to stay monochromatic, you can work with that just by holding your finger down on your mouse button. It gets you the best selection there. Okay, we got toolbars there. So that basically summarizes the interface.